Blackwood Swamp, read and written by Christian Ratcliffe Rippy. Prologue, The Urgent Telegram. October 18th, the common time of 1901. The Wimberley family of Port Bayou was unprepared for the urgent telegram they received on the night of their son's first birthday. Mr. Wimberley opened the telegram, a small moonstone dropping unnoticed to the plush carpet, and read the message. In a grave voice, he announced that the Wimberley family must pack their travel cases and leave at once for the border of Victoria. The matter was grievous. Mrs. Wimberley, not one to dilly-dally in times of urgency, ushered her two daughters into the care of the nursemaid and placed the birthday boy on the carpet. The boy crawled his way to the moonstone and chewed on it. In a flurry of suit coats and bowler hats, ladies' flowered dresses and puffy sunbonnets, Mrs. Wimberley packed her and her husband's bags, not forgetting a single item. Or so she believed. All the while, the servants dashed about, locking the valuables, throwing sheets over the furniture, and preparing the Wimberley house for a long slumber. Often, Mrs. Wimberley remembered an important chore and grabbed the closest servant. "Don't forget to close the shades, and roll the rugs or they will mildew, and pack the lineage papers in cypress chests." It wasn't that her servants were incapable, but she tended to hire anyone in need of a job, whether or not they supplied references or had any skills. Up 2 flights of stairs, the Wimberley nursemaid, newly hired and her face every bit as red as her hair, had been directed to pack the children's bags, which she felt to be an overwhelming task. She had never been in the Wimberley house before tonight, let alone laid eyes upon the children. And, for shame, Mistress Wimberley had hardly given her time to get her bearings before ordering her to pack the bags and watch the children. Mistress Wimberley ought to be the one packing the bags. The flustered nursemaid paid little attention to what she packed. 4 travel cases later, stuffed with 3 mismatched stockings, 10 pairs of shoes, and 5 stuffed animals, the nursemaid had finished her job. 10 minutes later, after the telegram's arrival, Mr. Wimberley announced it was time to leave, and the nursemaid led the girls down a narrow servants' staircase to the front lawn. Several garage boys serviced a 3-storied steam carriage, buffed the body, poured blue ice into the guzzler, checked the gears, and cranked the engine. Other servants, going up and down lifts, loaded a mound of suitcases and cedar chests into the carriage. The nursemaid, doing her best to avoid the bustling servants, bundled the Wimberley daughters into their 3rd-floor carriage beds. Unsure what to say to such little humans, she pressed 2 fingers to their foreheads, reminded them to be only a little naughty, and descended back down the carriage to join the other servants. The nursemaid had barely descended before Mr. Wimberley shifted the carriage into gear and shouted goodbye as he sped past the protection of the oak-lined driveway. With the last light of dusk disappearing and a wet chill settling in the air, the nursemaid promised herself she would never again be a nursemaid. She left the Wimberley house once and for all, not even bothering to leave a note of resignation. As she walked home from her now previous post, she had an inkling something lay forgotten at the Wimberley house, though she had no desire to find out what. Indeed, the Wimberleys had forgotten something quite priceless. In all the hubbub of the telegram and the packing, Beau Wimberley, beribboned and festooned for his birthday party, patiently waited on the dining room carpet, forgotten by all, still chewing on his moonstone. The Wimberley family, not at all being secretive, could not say with any precision what urgent matter called them away, only that it was a matter, and certainly urgent. The telegram, forgotten on the carpet along with Beau Wimberley, was blank. The inked letters, if there had ever been any, were now gone. Some hours after the Wimberleys left, flames the color of plumberry shot through the roof of the Wimberley estate, lighting the sky in an eerie purple glow. Smoke curled throughout the town of Port Bayou, filling the swamp houses with the odor of burning cypress, cloth, and metals. The scorching scent awoke the town, and for a moment they noticed the plumberry flames flicking the sky. But a shadow descended on the town. The sleepy people of Port Bayou yawned, returned to their beds, and tucked themselves in as dreams weaved into their sleep. On that night, the Wimberleys disappeared from every memory in Port Bayou. Some years after their disappearance, when things were more right than wrong, some townspeople would say it was the shadows' fault, but others would say there was no such thing as shadows. Hours, perhaps even days or weeks after the Wimberleys disappeared from memory, an old trapper with a grizzly silver beard and dark tawny owl eyes found a baby boy floating in the swamp.